Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
I have a real soft spot for evil.
Blood flying everywhere.
So good.
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod. Salutations, Underground Club members, and welcome to another thrilling meeting of the Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club. Tonight, we're unearthing 2007's Diary of the Dead. My name is, it says Brian, but it's Ross. What's this? It's me. It's Ross. I'm hosting. What is going on? Hey. Yes. So I have just like the pure college film spirit of this movie, I've decided to hijack the hosting seat. Brian is hogtied in the RV, so he won't be joining us tonight. But you know who is joining us?
Who?
Sam. You.
Oh, sup? That's me.
And we also have, back for more Romero punishment, two of the most wonderful human beings on the planet. We've got Cody and Sergio from the Horror Bandwagon. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you guys are so kind. I really feel like our parent is away and we just like are doing something we're not supposed to do.
I feel like so weird right now.
We're like, okay, nobody tell anybody we are recording this
doing
podcast
this right
without
now.
Brian. Okay.
Dad is gonna be so mad.
This is gonna be so bad. And we decided to do Diary of the Dead. This is the perfect movie to do this for.
It honestly is. And what a fitting name too, because this movie could have been written by a teenager.
Yes. we're gonna get into it.
We're starting hot fast.
Yeah, exactly. We figured there'd at least be 2 or 3 cub jokes before the spoilers. But before we dive into the chaos of Romero's Diary of the Dead, we are we like to keep it spoiler free up top, just to let you guys know.
Sure.
And then, when it's time to dive into the undead details, we'll kind of give you the warning. But, of course, we have a very special thanks to our coven of witches on our Patreon. Your sacrifices keep this club alive, and we are forever grateful for your hauntingly beautiful support. At this point, I know they're continuously multiplying, but we have.
Oh yeah, they're like rabbits.
They're like rabbits. I mean, the episodes in there are but just to let everyone know, they are free range organic episodes for your listening.
That's
pleasure.
right. You can find them on all platforms. Well, that's not true because it's Patreon.
It's Patreon. Exactly. You find them on all platforms. Reverse Uno just on Patreon.
Yes.
But what we just covered Hackers, right? Was our non-movie one? And we also are kind of we might be touching into some creepyfile stuff, some news stuff, all different kinds of fun activities. We got Chuddle battles going on as well, and a ginormous. We also have a Discord for our we have an oasis of just
Discord's for everybody.
Discord's for everybody.
There's also a Coven exclusive area.
There's a
lounge,
Coven
if
area.
you will.
It is. It's like a VIP lounge. It's great. It's got bottle service,
but for witches.
Ooh. Bottle service.
Right. All right. So with all the cameras rolling and the club members ready to face the apocalypse, let's crack open that goo book and officially begin tonight's meeting. We don't have the button, so Sergio, can you do that for us real quick?
Oh yeah. Is that the one?
Yes.
Oh wait,
Yes.
that happened first. Oh well.
What? The goo?
And what?
What? The give me the goo?
Brian's not here.
Oh, is Give Me the Goo the one?
Give me the goo, and then
No, but then
there
I
we
put
go,
in there.
and then
Okay, no, hold on.
Yeah.
Come in. I got it.
Sorry, we're just edging you at this point.
Give me that goo. Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Oh
Nailed
yeah.
Nailed it.
Let's do some lines.
All right, so our logline: a group of young film students run into real life zombies while filming a horror movie of their own. Yeah,
Sure.
Yep. Yeah, it's a nice little
gist.
nice schmear on top of that. I think that's totally good. Taglines: shoot the dead. Oh,
sorry.
See, it's like a double thing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. I guess that was the dad joke tagline they wanted to throw in there.
Yeah, that's for the
Could
parentals.
be my favorite.
It's a new vision of terror from the legendary filmmaker. Now I don't know, because it just ends with that, so I don't know if it's legendary filmmaker George A. Romero or they just decided not to do that and just go a new vision of terror from the legendary filmmaker
John Creed or whatever.
And then John Creed. Yes. And then the final one is where will you be when the end begins? That one I kind of like. That one I feel should be like a TV trailer.
That kind of works.
It does. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, because we are kind of going back to basics a little bit.
Yeah.
Certainly doesn't seem like a sequel to any of the other movies we watched.
You know how bummed out I was that there wasn't Dead Reckoning, not even parked in the parking lot somewhere during one of these scenes? I was fucking livid.
Damn. I will say though, from the legendary tagline, I feel like it's false advertising. I feel George A. Romero this is a soft launch kind of thing. Like,
yes,
you know,
yeah. This
George A. Romero's here. You know, that could be the tagline.
He's just sitting on a couch in the back going, "Hi."
Like, yeah, he did this.
Yeah,
He did
from that
this.
guy over there.
Right. Which leads perfectly into who made it. It is directed and written by George A. Romero. Although, like we're saying, it doesn't seem like it, but we'll get there.
He had fun.
We have our cast of characters. Was it Schroeder Todd as Brody, Laura Day Cart, or this is the classic. I just mess up everyone's name.
Yeah.
Laura D. Carteret as Bree, Amy Lalonde as Tracy Thurman, Martin Roach as Stranger, Joshua Close as Jason Creed, Joe Dinicole as Elliot, Michelle Morgan as Deborah. We got Sean Roberts as Tony, Philip Riccio as Ridley, Tatiana Maslany as Mary. We got some police officers, Chris Violet as Gordo, Megan Park as Francine, Scott Wentworth as Maxwell, and I love this is at the end, George Buza is the biker, who I love this fucking actor. He was also an American Christmas Horror Story or something like that. It was this weird knockoff, had William Shatner in it. He's a psycho cop, mall Santa. It's fantastic. Anyways.
I do recognize this fella.
And everyone else don't really know them, but that might lead into the IMDb factoid about most of them.
He's the voice of Beast in X-Men, that George Buza guy, the animated series.
Yes.
I just like his last name, Buza. Hey.
Hey is a Buza.
Sean Roberts was actually in the previous movie that we saw.
Was he? He looked familiar.
Yeah, he was that dude that got killed in the liquor store. He was like,
Dip.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy who got his neck bit.
So maybe this is the prequel
he
to the
himself.
Sequel of the
maybe.
Interesting. It also says Greg Nicotero was a zombie surgeon.
He was. Yes, he was.
So,
it was really funny.
fun.
Up until this go around, I knew he was in it, but I just forgot where it was. And then I was like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Let's splatter on over to the Gorometer.
It's time for the Gorometer.
Fatality.
Basically, on a scale of 1 to 10, Psycho to the Sadness, how gory is this film? What do you guys, what kind of, do we have zombie blindness in this movie in comparison to other Romero ones? I'm going to say less zombie blindness for my Gorometer.
I don't know. I can't recall a ton. I know I remember at some point seeing some gut flop and being like,
Definitely
okay,
gut flopping.
that's cool.
There is gut flopping. There is some tissue biting. There is gunshot wounds. There are, but again, I think it's evenly distributed enough so it's not as insane as some of the other installments that we've kind of
That's
seen.
what I think it is that it's like evenly spread out, but when we do have it, it's like, okay. Nice.
I feel like it's the amount of gore that one would reasonably expect to be in a zombie movie. And for that reason, I feel like the score's a little lower.
Yes. I totally
So
agree
what would
with you.
that be? Like consistency would be.
I would say consistency would be like, I would maybe give it a 2.5 for consistency.
That's what I was thinking.
And I would give it, I don't want to go any higher than a 2 for intensity.
Intensity, really?
Yeah.
Shocking for coming from you too.
I agree. Yeah, exactly.
The fear,
I'm here
fear
for it.
one of gore.
Well, it's like I said, it's the kind of gore that you should expect to see in a zombie movie. Like I feel like some of the previous installments have really given us like gore and like
Yeah,
really
oh, yeah.
something
Yeah.
like really memorable.
Yeah, true.
Totally.
I can't think of a memorable gore scene like thinking back over this movie.
That's fair.
Totally.
Well, this movie is forgettable.
No, but I'm kind of on the same beat as like a 4.5 to maybe a 5. Like I think it's like there are some scenes of intensity, and even the ones like you're saying where it's like it's just it's stuff that you would see in a zombie movie, but that's kind of it's a low bar at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel
Where
like
it's
this is rare for me, but I feel like I would go at least a 3 for intensity. I was even thinking maybe 3.5.
okay.
And usually I'm on the low side of this thing.
I can see but I can again. I always overshoot. I mean, like I would say, I mean, like there's a few in there that I was like,
I'm gonna bump mine up to 3 because there's one particular kill that I thought was pretty cool. So we'll talk about it.
We'll talk
later,
about
but-
it.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so we
that
got like
one, I just remembered that one. I'm like, wait a minute, gotta bump it up.
So like a 4.5 to like a 5.5. So maybe like
Sure. A 5.
a
We'll call
5.
it.
I think that works good.
Compromise.
All right, guys. Who is the horror for?
Found
Nice.
footage dweebs.
Brian's not here. That's a shot at you. Yes, it is. Yes, it
I'm
is.
a fellow dweeb. I love found footage.
okay,
Although
yeah.
I will say this one could not.
No. It
Yeah,
should,
yes.
But I do love found footage overall.
Absolutely. So found footage
wasn't-
freaks would, this is right up your alley.
I have
Ish.
found that I do really like found footage.
Okay.
Again, this one doesn't count, but
Yeah.
I didn't think I was a found footage guy, and I think I kind of am. I'm usually interested when someone recommends one.
See, I'm a found footage. I don't know if I would call myself a hater or a purist, like because I like found footage needs to prove itself to me, and it so rarely does.
Sure,
And
I get
this
that.
is not one that does.
No.
Now, would you put this with? I think there's another category, right? With like where we give it like subgenres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
We're
would you think that like found footage and mockumentaries are like
very good
hand in
point.
hand?
Because
That is a good
this is almost more of a mockumentary
Yeah.
than a found footage film. Because I mean, it's edited. They say at
Right.
the beginning of this, it's edited. They've added music, a bunch of other stuff. So like, I would almost, dare I say, skip the found footage and go straight for the fake documentary or just a documentary in general. Like
Yeah, it's a subgenre of found
found
footage.
footage.
There you go. Yeah.
A mock, yeah. Also, I guess this would also kind of be like a I don't even know the right terminology.
Zombie movie.
Is it zombies? Oh yeah, that one. No, like because it's the beginning of a pandemic or the beginning of it. So this is more of like a not a continuance or you're smack dab in the middle of it. It's more of like an origin kind of emergence. You know what I mean? So it's like not post-apocalyptic. I guess a beginning apocalyptic. Apocalyptic.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so I know it's a college movie. It's a little moody, but Quiet, Loud, Serious. Are we? I don't
What's
know.
the best environment?
Yeah, what's the best environment for us?
Oh, I don't know. Because we were like, if I'm bringing this to like a bunch of friends to be like, let's go. I don't know if I would bring this one to the party.
Wait,
No.
can I be like really almost
Do it.
rude to this
Do it.
movie? Okay,
Do it.
This is I feel like this is a movie you put on like with a bunch of friends in the room, but you put it on at the end of the night when everyone's already half asleep, so that you just all pass out.
Oh, it just goes directly into the
Sure.
Yeah,
Cody,
I'll
you
get
actually,
that.
dude,
kind of close it down.
you were
Yeah.
nicer than I was going to be because this is the movie that I would put on to make people leave
Clear
my
people
house.
out. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's both.
about
It's not
the
that
same
bad.
thing.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same. Yeah. It's this is basically like wind down, like night time.
If you're not falling asleep, you're leaving.
Exactly.
Girl, I'm so sorry, but
only the real fans like stay up and watch the whole thing.
I have to rewatch this movie because I did fall asleep at parts and did not know how we got to where we were.
I watch every movie twice, but I did not for this one.
I'm sorry, George A. Romero. I still love you.
I just couldn't make myself do it.
Should we know anything before going into this one? I think because he's basically restarting the timeline. I guess actually that would be something to maybe, if you're expecting a direct sequel from Land of the Dead, you should know
all of them.
This is
because even Land of the Dead is some, we're unclear on the timeline, but it's still, part of the same overall. We're still following, the zombie story arc.
Yes. Diary is a complete reset up of the zombie apocalypse in the beginning days. So all of anything that is, I'm assuming everything that has come before it has not happened yet.
Yeah.
Do you guys do you hear that? I think it sounds like the Chuddle figure of doom. Fap at my window, fapping more and more. When the Mothman comes to fapping, there are warnings and odd stains at my door.
Love it.
I wonder how much the Mothman leaves. I am not sure.
1 to 2 ounces.
I don't recall anything that stood out.
Yeah, I mean, like,
for a trigger warning.
I feel this one kind of plays it safe in the fact of most of I guess we would even do in air quotes triggering things you have seen in other Romero movies, and it's been more extreme. So to me, I don't
slurs.
I actually don't think so.
I don't think there were.
This was
of course has to be in the worst
Romero
fucking movie.
Right? He cleans his act up in this. Yeah. No, I think this one really doesn't, I mean, unless you have a phobia of zombies, I guess that would
if you're really scared of the zombie outbreak.
Yeah. Or if you just have if you have anxiety attacks when you watch college films, then also this may not be your cup of tea.
If you're allergic to bad acting.
If you're a professor in a acting school and you've seen one too many horrible student movies, this is not for you.
Oh, that's so true. All right, it's time to cut into this movie and get into the goo.
Spoiler zone.
Let's go into IMDb behind the scenes. See? I practiced that in the shower today because I knew that if I did get it right, it would be the first thing
you just needed to not host anymore, and you killed it.
And I killed it. It just came out naturally. All right, so we're going to just talk about a little behind the scenes. In the warehouse, when the group is searching the RV for the missing dead body, you can hear a television report in the background. The report is taken directly from Night of the Living Dead from 1968. It also
fun.
Nice, right?
Did you mention that?
Yeah, when we
were watching
in our second watch through, I didn't notice that. I said this sounds like some of the radio broadcast from the original Night of the Living Dead.
Genius over here.
Oh,
yeah.
They dropped a
genius.
And exactly like Night of the Living Dead, it begins on the exact same day, although the setting has been updated to the present day. The concept for the film evolved from an idea that George A. Romero had earlier for a Living Dead television series, which would have begun on the same day as Night of the Living Dead.
Okay.
So it makes sense to me now that if this was supposed to be a television series and to do it in this found footage mockumentary style, it would make so much sense to have it you could break that episodically very easily.
Yeah, because they kind of have different kind of vignettes of where they go.
Yes.
As long as they like,
do you think
fade out.
Is this like the first 3 episodes of the first season just like together, crammed into like one thing?
Yeah.
And actually, because of the shooting style of this, which we've said is kind of like a found footage mockumentary style, as the film was shot in long takes, George A. Romero deliberately cast stage actors instead of screen actor, as in, you know. So this is all these guys.
Movies, so we have like stage actors.
So all of these actors, for the most part, are stage actors.
Oh, that makes total sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That makes some monologues in this
actors,
movie.
Yeah,
the theater
who are like, I just taking up the whole. I'm like, girl, spit it out. Come on, it all makes sense.
I'm getting the vapors.
Do you like being filmed?
Do you enjoy it now?
Do you enjoy it?
Let me scream for you.
Let me scream. Oh my God.
Oh my God. All right. So this was shot over a period. You can tell how much we've loved this movie. Shot over a period of only 23 days. And then even before Land of the Dead was released, George A. Romero was planning a found footage take on the zombie apocalypse. The documentary within the film is called The Death of Death, which is also the name of George Romero's 4-part miniseries for the DC Comics zombie title Toe Tags. Didn't know that, which is funny because I own all of those comic books.
I should have bad now.
I should have known that.
I outwardly said that I did not like the title "The Death of Death" for their mockumentary.
No, it's not. But it's
why?
It's so fucking on.
Well,
guys.
It's very college kid.
Yes,
from
honestly,
the perspective of the character who would have called it that, it makes sense.
Yeah,
we are going to. I mean, we're in the spoiler zone territory.
Yeah.
We are going to all shit on this movie, dear listeners. I'm
just trying to find some good thing.
But I will say that if you really want to like big brain it. Right? Mm-hmm. This could be one of the most well-made movies ever in that it is so convincing that it was made by college kids for a college project.
That's like my biggest note.
Right.
It's because this is you said it perfectly. Because like my thought, even like because watching this 3 times in a row, I was like sitting there going like, okay, wow, this either has to be so bad that it is a college movie, or he did such a good job that it's so on the nose that it's off-putting. Like this is like this weird uncanny valley where I'm like, God, this isn't even like a Romero version of a college film. I just feel like he just had a bunch of college kids film it and then give them the canisters and be like, this is great.
I do give it up to him though, because and this is me trying to like give the movie some credit here. I was wondering, I'm wondering if it's taking the same beats as all the other found footage, mockumentary kind of stuff. And this one came out in 2007, I believe. And I looked at the other ones, like, when did Paranormal Activity? And I think Paranormal Activity might have been released limited in 2006, but really came out in 2007. So this was all really brand new. So I kind of feel like George A. Romero was kind of starting from scratch on the beats of a found footage
I will give it that, where it's like
Rec came out in 2007 as well,
and Rec came out in the same year, so that's kind of like they all were starting something.
They're riding that wave.
So Brian can't be here, so I'll give you just a little something, but from our text, I was like, hey, sorry you couldn't be here, and also sorry that you had to watch that shitty movie. And,
you still watched it?
And he said, this is what Brian's response was: do you think it's so bad because a shitty film student is supposed to have made it? LOL.
And I think that's like, that thought may haunt me for years. Like, is this a diamond? And I just don't know it's a diamond because it's just done so well it's bad. It's a movie done so well it's bad. No, it does not make it. Speaking of, despite its freeform style, George A. Romero found that this handycam interpretation required even more planning than a regular film.
Yeah.
I hear that all the time on found footage stuff. Like, it seems like everyone we do, if it's somebody's like first time making one, they're like, would have been easier to make a regular movie.
Yes.
Because I feel like I feel like there's so much like planning and particulars that you have to do to make it seem like someone just picked up and filmed real life.
I kind of feel like it's definitely the cheaper
because the long take thing.
Yeah, it's definitely the cheaper option, but you definitely have to like, in order to make it look real, everyone needs to be choreographed in a certain type of way.
Oh, totally.
Right.
And sometimes it worked in this, and a few it's just. Sean Roberts, who plays Tony in this film, actually got to hang out with zombies after this movie was made, because he would later play the villain Albert Wesker in Paul W.S. Anderson's zombie films Resident Evil Afterlife, Resident Evil Retribution, Resident Evil The Final Chapter.
And he looked damn good in those movies.
He looked great in those. And also very one-to-one with the actual video game character. Like that was like good. I was like, hell yeah.
And those were I'm not gonna say they were great movies, but they were a lot of fun.
Yes.
They're a lot of fun to just drink and watch the craziness unfold.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Zach Kreger is adapting Resident Evil into a movie. The guy who did Barbarian.
I'm actually
very excited.
I'm waiting to see what they got.
I'm not a huge Resident Evil fan. I'm not a fan. I just never got into it. I'm excited because of him. And
have you played?
I know it's got to be double for Brian. I played, I remember renting the first two when I was a kid, and then pretty much when I lived with Brian and Ross, we played a lot of not Umbrella Academy. What was it called? The first person rail shooting. Resident Evil game.
Was it the Umbrella Files or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. God, if they did a film version.
We just got introduced to all of them, Brian, the games and the movies this past year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm honestly, if they did a Resident Evil 4 in the desolate Spanish town with all the parasitic oh God, so fucking good. Simon Pegg, Wes Craven, Quentin Tarantino, Stephen King, and Guillermo del Toro have cameos in a voiceover role as newsreaders.
Wow.
That's awesome. Also hilarious. George Romero goes would you mind just reading some crazy zombie stuff for me? And just you can just leave it on my voicemail if you like, and I'll just chop it in at a later point.
That's perfect.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then also speaking of audio commentary, Tom Savini in the scene with the zombie doctors, a voice can be heard on the radio inviting people to aim for the head. In fact, this audio is lifted directly from the bonus features of the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I like the fact that
weird,
because there's an added scene in the DVD where they're just interviewing Tom Savini as this local sheriff about just shoot him head, stack the bodies, all that kind of stuff. I just like the fact that he goes, we don't need to re-record that, just use that.
That's so funny.
And in true Hitchcock cameo way, Romero finds himself in this film as well as a police officer presenting a cover-up for the zombie outbreak at a press conference.
Yes.
So what's everybody's history with this movie?
So I thought I had seen it when it came out, and maybe even in theaters, if not right when you could rent it, you know, because I was still into it and excited about it. I didn't remember anything about it. As I was watching it, I was like, maybe I didn't see this. Cool. And then if it weren't for the guy at the farm that he writes, he's deaf and he writes on the little chalkboard.
Yes.
Then I was like, oh, I have seen that. Him, I remember.
Yeah.
But pretty much every other aspect of the movie I forgot, including his death, because it's memorable.
It is very memorable. I remember, I for sure saw this in theaters. I thought this was a way edgier movie in 2007 than rewatching it, because I definitely was like, man, it's not polished, but I think there were some really redeeming things about that movie. And then
I don't remember thinking it sucked. That's for sure.
Yes. And then I revisited it a bunch of other times, and it is aging like milk, and not in the fact of maybe just because I'm not an angsty 20-something-year-old at this point. I'm out of my college years and being like, oh no, this is just
Sure.
Is this you guys' first watch for Diary?
This was our first watch. I will say though, this seemed like the perfect blockbuster movie. I don't know if Blockbuster ran out of business in 2010 and 2007. Were they still thriving?
Still going strong.
Still around.
Sorry, Blockbuster. But this seemed like the perfect movie that I would just randomly get at Blockbuster to bring back home. And if I had watched it when I was younger, I bet you I would be on this podcast trying to kind of defend it, because it seems like one of those movies where I'd be like, oh, I loved it. And then now I'm like, no, guys, nostalgia.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel like this would be one where if I had seen it when I was younger, I would be able to look past the flaws a little bit to be like, well, this was one of the first big found footage movies. How many found footage zombie movies have you seen, really, when you think about it?
Now, here's a question for you guys, because I think we completely glazed over it. Do you think, now seeing it for the first time now, is it for beginners? Do you think this is an entry level installment into this, or I don't honestly.
I'm gonna say yes.
It's
not terribly gory. It is sort of like a quintessential zombie film,
and it starts at the beginning, or you don't need to have seen any of the other movies.
And every other movie you watch after this will be better by comparison.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's such a good point.
That's interesting. I was going to say, yes, it could be for beginners, except I would never recommend this movie to anyone, even a beginner. And I think part of the disappointment now is we've been going through them. I wonder if I would hate it as much as I do now, having just watched the first four. And granted, Land of the Dead is a big step down from the first three, but this is a big step down from Land of the Dead.
This is like the top of the lighthouse, and then falling down every flight of stairs towards the bottom level of drop from Land. From if you're talking about the original trilogy, and then I'm on the ground floor when it comes to Diary.
Yeah, this is more like Bland of the Dead. Am I right?
All right, guys. Well, you know what? I've tried to postpone the pain, but
we have to talk about the movie. We got to talk about it.
Well, here's something fun. This is going to be from the IMDb synopsis. We don't have a fun name for that.
Don't you have to tell people that? That's our secret.
Why not?
Oh, shit.
It's not a secret. We tell them everything else we do.
It's true. Yeah.
I will be doing this for Train to Busan.
Absolutely.
Now that I know this is an option.
Train to Busan, so good.
What
a good movie.
Yeah, palate cleanser after. Yeah.
IMDb will run through the whole. Certain movies apparently have a synopsis that runs through the whole movie.
Oh yeah.
So rather than me taking notes, I'm going to be pulling it from there.
I think we used to do that too.
We did.
But I would change anything if they skipped over anything
they glossed over
like that.
Yeah, I'll definitely be insert. It's not going to be perfect or, exactly taken, but it will be
now
my ground floor.
As much as I have issues with this movie, the beginning of this movie I thoroughly enjoyed. So the beginning of the movie is the news reporters filming the story about the double murder suicide outside of the apartment building. They're kind of we've got people getting wheeled out. She's kind of checking her makeup. And then the mom and the child that were murdered suddenly wake up and start attacking emergency service people. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's this the foundy footage. You know what I mean? And then having the zoom ins, and then just I think that was the first word this is the beginning. Oh, because everyone has no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? I don't know, for some reason the rest of it goes very downhill very fast. But at least this opening sequence, I was like, okay, all right. Oh, sweet.
See, before, I think it got too hyped up for me, this opening sequence. And when I say too hyped up for me, before I revisited, you said this movie was like a balloon and that it started strong and lost all its air quickly. Like if you just let a loose balloon go. And so I was like, well, and I wasn't even like, well, at least the beginning would be good because I didn't know what to expect. But I was like, if this is the good part, this movie is gonna suck.
Yeah,
we do get
because it didn't do anything for me.
We do get a little bit of gore. We get some nice like body shots where we kind of have the POV of the kid getting just lit up, and then the headshot. We get, I think it's a nose, but is it a cheek bite or a nose bite off from the reporter?
I thought it was like a cheek,
I think it's like a cheek
rip.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I did. That's the one thing that I do like about this scene. I always enjoy nice little, like, you hear what's going on, and then later on they show you the aftermath. I kind of like that.
I did. Yeah. I like the camera drops, and then you just have her like the feet shuffle before like the body drop. I was like, that's nice. That's nice.
I was really distracted by the fact that the camera guy asked the ambulance to pull up to not mess up the shot.
I know that you're doing your job and people need their lives saved, but could you like move like 10 feet for me?
And they're like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. I got you.
Yeah, got you. Totally understand.
I will say that like the transition from the scene to the next though was so jarring because I was like, are we watching the same movie? Like this was honestly a pretty good opener, fairly solid.
Yeah.
Because you can only go up from here.
Yeah.
Right? You can only get it
that's
better.
That's the thought.
Well, Jason Creed is not a very good editor.
So we get our introduction to the zombie documentary, The Death of Death, mostly filmed by Jason Creed, Joshua Close, a film student at the University of Pittsburgh. And then we kind of get into it. So now we've kind of got like Jason's horror movie. So we've got our mummy man horror film, and a woman running, kind of just running through. We've got Ridley. Was it Ridley is the mummy? And then Tony is the special effects artist, but also director. There's a little bit of contention going on between the two of them. So like Jason kind of just yells at Tony for fucking up like the zombie makeup. Although I do kind of like it's just more of like she doesn't even really it's like a veil on top.
Yeah.
Where like I was like, I don't.
He's a mummy.
He's supposed to tuck in, man. So everybody's just like arguing, obviously, and then the blonde's name in the one that's running away. I do like the foreshadowing to the end of the film where it's like, no, that's what I call a shamble. And then she's like, you just want me to run around the woods because my boobs pop out. I was like, the second they said that was so on the nose where I'm like, so eventually at some point in this movie, she's going to be chased in the woods and both of her boobs are going to pop out.
Both of them.
That was my 2000 in the theater call. I was like, that's absolutely going to happen. So while they're all arguing, Elliot Stone declares that something strange is going on, and then all of the students, including their highly boozed up fucking professor.
Don't get me started on this guy.
Fucking guy.
This moody English man. No, it's English. English. Yeah.
Something. I think so, I'm not quite sure. British of some sort. Do you know
how bad your movie has to suck for like your professor to be that shithoused, just sitting in a chair going like, whatever. It's his vision.
Film professor that's also an ex-soldier who's seen so much war and killing that he like can't stomach it anymore.
Can't stomach it.
But now also, he's a film professor.
But also considers guns too easy. Like there was a few lines in this where I'm like, oh fuck you, dude.
Well, every time he started saying anything, going off on his like monologues, I was like, what are you doing here? Like, why?
And there's like honestly so much equipment. There's a lot of investment being put into one student's senior project for this film. And especially this professor, like you said, it's like every line that he has to end with some joke about how he wants to just be drunk.
Oh yeah. Yes. Where's the bar? Well,
wouldn't it just be horrible if all the state stores just closed? And
you're like, oh my
get any
God, dude.
Alcohol.
Yeah. How many times do you think during this film, I was like, when they talk about it, it's like, you're 5 days over a 3-day shoot or something like that, or like 7 days over a 5-day shoot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where I'm sitting there going like, and then I'm like, is it because they were doing so many beer runs for this fucking professor? Where they're like, hold on, I'm not getting the right thing. Someone drive me to the liquor store real quick.
Probably be passed out most of the time.
Yeah, right. So upon hearing the news that I guess Tony's the most vocal about like bullshit, they are like, you know what? They hear some moaning, they hear some creeping. I think it's time to pack everything up and maybe we should fucking get out of Dodge. So was it Ridley decides to head out with one of the other, I don't even know what she did. Was she costume? Was she makeup? Was she hang about? Well, Ridley,
she was there.
Yeah, so the mummy and an extra girl hop into a really nice car and just drive off.
Yeah.
You're supposed to know that he's rich just from the car.
Very. He goes, come over to Mummy and Daddy's house. We're just going to be hanging out.
Let's party.
Let's party.
And says it's like a compound and that it's safe.
Yes. And I also like how they literally go, bye! And just drive fucking off. Oh my God. All right. Yeah. So the group gets into this RV. It is not Dead Reckoning. I'm just letting you know this right now. If you were prepped for some more Dead Reckoning, you get a fucking Winnebago that gets out of gas very easily. So they head towards the university dorms to pick up Deborah, which is Jason's girlfriend. So this is where we kind of get that very weird, everything's dark POV of just like a ransacked kind of just dormitory. And then we get even I love the actor, but the biker, even the lines was like, what are you doing here in the girls' dormitory? Security. I was like, this seems like.
Did George A. Romero also write it?
Yeah, yes. He did write it. I just don't know if like because they're supposed to be stage actors, we're like, so I have to project, right? And then you didn't want me to. It's more projection than acting.
Yeah.
You're acting for the back of the house.
Yes.
Also, overall, what contributed, I think, to this movie being a little bit of a drag, for me at least, is that there's this like dark filter throughout the whole thing. It's just very gloomy.
Yes. There's like it's like a goth filter, and I don't know like how to put my
I don't know if that was
on it.
It's a handheld camera filter.
There you go.
God, it is true because like some of the stuff is like really low light, and then even the daytime shots seem to be done at dusk.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So we find Deb. She's in her room. We get a nice little like Baghouse jump scare. And then she's attempting to kind of get to her parents, but is not getting hold of everybody. But of course, Jason's got to be filming this thing the entire time. So he just is like, yeah, no, it's totally cool. Is that thing on? No, it's fine. Let me just put it on the bed real quick. You can cry into me. Just get into shot. You know what I mean? Like
it's like the commitment that this kid has to, I must capture every shot. I have to share this with the world because the news isn't telling us the truth.
The news is lying, man. And like, we're like the fucking truth, dude. And like, I'm going to videotape it.
Honestly, Ross, you're doing the exact same voice that I did with Sergio
Cody
earlier.
did the exact same thing.
I said like because Romero always puts like some political stuff in the movies, and he did a little bit of that in the opening shot with like the cops assuming that these people are not legal immigrants and all this other
exactly
stuff. But like then the rest of this movie just gets very like guy with frizzly hair saying the corporate media are lying to you, man. You really got to go on this one random blog. They're the truth.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, that's what I get from this whole movie.
Yes. And I think it's just like, yeah. And I wish that there was some other added component to like Jason's like mania about filming everything, like because they briefly talk about where it's like, no man, like we're like helping people because like it's all fucking lies, man, and like this could like say, I felt like if they had banked harder on that and was like watching your stuff is like help save you know what I mean? Where like he had more of a dependence on his audience versus like, we just got to get it out there because like the clicks, man.
Well, it seemed unclear too, because it also seemed in a way critical of online stuff, because it talked about like how too many voices being out there dilutes the message. And
yes. So they talk about just don't listen to the media, but also don't listen to everybody else. So don't do that.
Just us.
Just us. Just now.
It's like he was exploring the idea of news distribution.
And just like a college film, the plot or the subplot therein is a little murky. Like you're going to have to like, my suspenders of disbelief are half off at this point. You know what I mean? Just like a shoulder strap, like a little tickle.
You still use the same voice. It's like, I'm just exploring the idea.
Dude, you know, man.
Well, and then you really get the extra layer of it on top because it's the girlfriend who does never act like they're in a relationship throughout the entire film. Like,
she says babe a few times.
I got no chemistry, but like it's the extra layer on top of that of her being like, I just got to keep his dream alive. Jason really wanted this film to be made so we could get the truth out there. This is for him.
Yeah. But then he's a big old piece of shit. And then you're like, what would you?
I thought she was secretly with Tony for a while.
I mean, that's not off the table.
She could have edited that out.
They're true. This is a mockumentary. There's probably an entire subplot on
she
Tony.
Had final cut on this one.
So, all right. So they pick her up. They get into the Scooby van. They start driving off. So they're going to be doing some drop offs along the way. And then we get on the road, and then fucking, of course, sociopathic Jason requests that everybody introduce themselves to the camera because what he believes is like, this is gonna be like history, man. You gotta introduce yourself and like, what are you doing? Like, where are you at? So this is where we kind of get like the MacGuffin of just like everybody explaining themselves. And we got Mary Dexter, we got the driver, then moving to Deborah, we got Tony, Elliot, Gordo, and then girlfriend Tracy, which was the blonde that was running around. And then she is Texas via Kansas. Yeah, something like that.
Well, the accent sure comes in and out. I'll tell you that.
Don't mess with Texas.
Don't mess with Texas. Oh, and then finally, their professor Andrew Maxwell, Mr. Maxwell has just is okay. You know, like how in Labyrinth, every time you see David Bowie, his pants get tighter and his cod piece gets bigger. You know what I mean? I feel that with Andrew Maxwell in this film, every time you go back to him, there are more empty bottles around him. Like I think there was a certain scene where there was literally like an empty bottle of sangria, 2 beer cans, and then he was like had a flask and he's like, well, this one's empty too. I don't understand.
But he never gets more drunk. He's always the most insufferable sober person.
Eagle-eyed.
But he is also drinking through the entire movie.
The entire time.
He's one of those drunks that
sharpens
normal while he's drunk.
It just doesn't hit him as hard.
Sharpens it until he blacks out.
That's why he keeps drinking for
just warms the bones.
One day.
Yes. Oh my God. All right. So while they're doing this, they encounter a car accident on the side of the road. They kind of slow down, and then we get Crispy Critter, State Trooper. I will give, I kind of, you know, if they had downplayed the lurching with the arms up, I feel like this scene would have kind of gotten a little more of like a Bagao jump scare. But I feel like because like as pulling up, it's just this like Frankenstein arms out, like, I'm like, that's a zombie. Like that's clearly a zombie. I mean, I was believing it. Mary kind of didn't believe it because she kind of like knocks that guy off by driving off and then proceeds to have this crazy POV shot from the front of the RV of her just mowing 3 people, like 3 fucking zombies down. It was like
the cut on that as well
it's so gratuitous. And like part of me was kind of like, if you if you decided to do this shot, which you did, and you committed to it, like, why wouldn't you just have one of these bodies just full of squibs just explode in front? Like, give us the gore. You know what I mean? Like, I understand, like, we get the boom, the thub, and then the thub, but like, at least use the windshield wipers once to get some viscera off. I mean, it's a fucking Romero movie, like, you know.
Yeah.
Never gooey enough for Ross.
I know.
But what we really need to do is focus on how Mary feels about driving through the zombies.
Mary's fucked up doing that. She is very depressed.
Gotta say, this is probably the best acted scene from anybody in this whole movie.
It is so funny.
The amount of emotion that she comes out with it, I'm like, all right, I believe you. You're emotionally distraught.
I genuinely felt bad for Mary, which was it was this weird inflation of the balloon where I was like, oh, this is okay. All right. This is pretty good acting. I can be on board with this. Also the heavy ramifications of like literally within, because I was trying to put myself in like those kind of shoes where I'm like, okay, this has been 6 hours into a zombie apocalypse. I'm not in zombie brain right now. I'm like, okay, I might have hypothetically just ran over 3 people.
Yeah.
And like that probably would have mentally fucked me up. I mean, like, I guess the state trooper being deep fried was like a little bit of like, okay, well, maybe there's some validity to these things. But again, not enough for Mary because she decides to crisscross applesauce in the middle of a field and just shoot herself in the face.
Yeah. And honestly, this was such a bummer because we really could have used She-Hulk in the rest of the movie.
Yes.
Her early work.
At least, you know, it would have been great having She-Hulk break the fourth wall.
And now she's in that new movie, The Monkey.
Yeah, so
that's coming out soon.
Oh, yes, which I'm very excited about.
The actress who played Mary is Tatiana Maslany, who played She-Hulk in the recent She-Hulk.
No way.
Yes. Yeah.
I fucking love that show.
Yeah,
that's why I think that she's probably the best actor out of all of them.
Yeah. Well, you can barely tell because she's so mousy in this, and then like has like
and she has the smallest part.
The smallest part. Again,
that's
I'm
probably my favorite Marvel show I watched.
Yes,
yeah, we liked it.
Got a lot of hate, but
it got a lot of hate. Yeah, we liked it.
God,
but yeah, she's in the Monkey movie that's coming out.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh, speaking about popcorn, all right, we'll talk about the popcorn bucket for that later. So
freaking
that was the ASMR version. Let me just talk to you about some popcorn.
Oh wait, hold on. That's the good stuff right there.
You got some butter for that popcorn. So, okay, obviously the driver of the fucking Winnebago just shot herself in the face, so everybody's freaking the fuck out.
But she still has a pulse.
She's still got a pulse.
Oh, she's still breathing or whatever.
Oh, her face is all fucked up, but she's got a pulse. So they rush to a hospital, which weirdly enough is abandoned, looking for help. I think this may be one of the most unbelievable aspects where like it's a hospital and like you're only dealing with like, I think what was there, 3 zombies, and then like off screen we got kind of like the dad one with like I figured I hate that I'm referencing it, but it's like I was expecting more of like a Soul Station, you know what I mean, where it's like if a bunch of people are getting bitten and dead and a bunch of other stuff, like wouldn't you expect the hospital just to be
like ground zero
over fucking overrun?
But I mean, remember
how long has because it hasn't just started, like it's still not until he's. Yeah. So I figured like
so a bunch of bit people would probably have been brought there, and now
I don't know, guys. This is like 3-4 o'clock in the morning in a middle of nowhere Pennsylvania town.
But to be this abandoned,
that is true.
To be this abandoned, and
or everybody nibbled at each other and they just lurched off.
I can't even really remember how big was it. Is it like a full
they don't really
it
seems like it's a full-size hospital, but they don't really show the building on the outside. I don't think, right?
We don't get to one of those sitcom like shots where we see the building.
Sure, I guess it's hard to do establishing shots when it's found footage.
But it does seem like there should have been a lot more bodies. I feel like it should have been much harder than them just stepping in front of me like, what happened? Like here, you know?
Well, the night crew got.
They did. Oh man, they totally did. So they kind of wheel up, and then they've got Mary kind of just sitting there, and then this again, my suspenders are now starting to like be projectile ripped off of my body, because like you're in an abandoned quote unquote air quote hospital where a bunch of crazy shit's going down and your battery's dying. I would leave the camera plugged in somewhere and follow the group or do something. You know what I mean? Not be like, I'm stuck to this. I also like the fact that even I'm stuck to this. I'm plugged in. I'm stuck to this wall.
The way that he was saying, I thought he was like mentally just hyping himself up, being like, "Oh yeah, I'm plugged in. I'm personally plugged in."
Yes.
He's also still recording at the same time, so I was like, "All right, I guess the rest of the movie is just going to be him here," because the amount of time it would take to charge a camera, especially when you're still in use.
Yes.
It would never charge.
And this is also where we're getting like the frantic transmission, which is also the Tom Savini, like just shoot him in the head. So they they eventually, I'm assuming, find a doctor because he's in scrubs. They discover that the doctor is it's Doogie Howser, actually. He's a child. No, I'm just kidding. It's a zombie. So they turn around and then like the firing shots on his torso. He puts like four or five shots into him before like going for the head, and then finally puts him down.
Sure.
And then, I don't know. I see. Usually I'm good at bullet counts because I'm like at a certain, because I think he doesn't have a revolver, right? No, he doesn't have a revolver.
I don't know.
Although, okay, I will give this credit, was fucking outstanding. The defibrillator on the sides of the head with the eyeballs popping was great.
Goo coming
that
out.
Was really cool.
Yeah,
that was cool.
It seemed way too set up. Like I knew a gag was going to happen when like they're doing a semicircle behind the zombie, going, "Shh, don't." Just distracted. Hold on. Good boom. I still loved it. I also did like the part where she got back up because I'm like, I guess on a normal person, obviously getting like defibrillated with your eye and after your eyes pop out would like fry your brain, but I guess not enough to puncture it or honestly kill a zombie. I don't know. I mean, she got back up.
She got back up, so
assuming not
enough.
She should have been dead.
So we've got, so like he winds up like shooting, Gordo shoots her in the head, and I think like another person as well. Like there was the guy that kind of, we do get an intestinal flop.
Yes.
Which was good, which I was like, oh, nice.
This was the main thing I was thinking of when we were talking about the gore, because it's probably the only time during the movie I remember to be like, oh, I should think about the gore. There's some gore.
Is this the part where she comes in with the camera, she finds the camera herself?
It's this, yes. All right. So basically, we kind of mix things a little bit. Like this is when he runs out and he's plugged in, and then like they're off running around doing something. Then he hears like the screaming, but he doesn't want to like move, and they come back in, and then that's when Deborah comes back with the other video camera, and then basically gives him like the.
Tell us your name.
Tell us your name.
What are we doing right now?
Is this documentary more important than our lives?
Like the way she's standing, especially, she's got to be a stage actress, right? Because even the way she's standing, it's like when you go center stage to take a monologue and you take that like strong
she's doing
stance.
blocking right now. So, so when you're rehearsing, they're giving you blocking, and she's doing those beats as she says is, I have to look up, then have to look down, then have to walk this way, and then I have to scream.
It's like, oh no.
Why?
No.
It was.
Do you want me to scream?
Cringy.
Do you need to get that scream on camera? Let me do it for you.
Like what?
But then the second that anything happens, she immediately whips up the camera like it's her fucking job.
Yes.
And starts recording. Despite the fact that she has
Talk
just gone on this whole monologue
about
not recording everything when there's danger.
Yeah, it's just.
Well, she used to be a better cameraman than him.
That's why I stopped. So
and then you have the professor, because they killed the guy with the intestines coming out, right?
Yeah. And then the Gordo's about to kill, because now at this point, Mary has come back from the dead.
Oh, yeah.
We got those weird, gross eyes. And then Gordo's about to do it and was like, I can't fucking do it. And then that's when the professor comes in and goes, may I? And then just like,
he goes
pop.
Like, the war. Just
yes.
Yeah.
like,
Yes. Yeah. Some weird ambiguous quote about being in a war.
It's easy to kill, isn't it?
Easy. It gets easy every time. Back in the war.
So nuts.
Which war though? Like
the
I don't know. The war.
Well, not the war.
Well, not well. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
He's not that old.
He was 4 years old. He was the first baby in World War II. So. All right, so now Professor's got the gun. They're like, we need to get the fuck out of here. And then out of nowhere, bald, with that hospital gown on, I'm more surprised we didn't see. I wanted to get at least a light dose of Manhams. You know what I mean? Like, you got the gown on.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
What's a light dose? Like just top crack?
No. You got to get the whole man.
Full floppity flop. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not looking
bouncy.
Yeah, I'm not looking for bouncy. Yeah, I'm not looking for beanbag and helmet.
You know what?
You know what I mean? Like, I just want a little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. Like, if you got a pair of boobs at the end of the movie, give us a little bit of Manham. At least
I'm not sure who the actor is, but I feel like you're built. I feel like you got some to flaunt around. You know, it's okay.
You could tell. You could bounce a quarter off that zombie's butt.
From the front, I can tell you got a good butt.
Well,
that's perfect.
That perfectly rotund, round ass zombie decides to bite Gordo, and then
Gordo, no.
God. And then Elliot does this weird, like, "Do you think it's fake now?" and just starts stabbing him with the. We're like, we're way past that. Like, we've deep fried a fucking zombie's eyeballs out. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen gut plops. We don't need the reiteration of like.
I do need to mention before we got to this scene, there is a little like a little like narration from Deborah, who's like, yeah, stuff happened. And then like clips of the scenes that we just saw just slowly overlap each other.
And now we've caught up to the movie.
Like,
thanks for reminding us of what just happened 2 seconds ago.
Hey, if you were too stoned or asleep for the first 30 minutes, let's recap it for you.
Previously on.
Yes. See, the episodic type thing. Like, that was the wrap up. And that's where the episode would have. Then the bite would have happened at the end of the episode. And then it would have been a cliffhanger for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I also, Jesus fuck. So yeah, bitten. And I also think that part of this for, I guess, Elliot was the one who's yelling. I think it's because he's kind of blaming Tony for making Mary feel so bad about what happened that, like, I feel that some of the shit in the RV, like, Tony's like, man, she killed some people. You know that, right, Mary? You killed a bunch of people, a bunch of innocent people you ran over. Like, I feel like that was kind of just like directly for Tony to be like, fuck you, dude. She didn't kill anybody. Yeah. They were zombies. Well, a few hours later, the group buries Mary and Gordo is fucking toast. So we get a bite will kill you, and it'll kill you moderately fast.
I liked that shot actually of his like girlfriend waits for him to get up, right? And shoots her. I thought that looked good. One of the few things I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, I did really like that because it kind of had this like, it was kind of, I don't know. I think the one kind of like opening up, what was it like? Dawn with Roger, where he's like, where he kind of slowly rises up and stuff like that. I think sometimes when you get those like characters you've known for me, you're like, oh shit.
I also think one problem with this movie that I have is that it's retelling all the rules of our zombie world again that we already know of, but at a slower pace. So like at this point of the movie, they just found out what to do. It was like, okay, great, we got the point of it. And I totally like the idea of have it being like a found footage film on the day of the days that it's all happening.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe having it from a point of view of someone in the midst of all of the shit happening and not of people who are like in the outskirts of town who there's nothing going on.
No, that's a really, really good point. Because it's like, especially when it's like, God, the fifth installment of a series, you know what I mean? Where you're like, you're in the, like, if you had it in a closed sound stage on a college campus and was able to do dead returning from, like, everybody returning from the dead, a bite can kill and all this kind of stuff with the first establishing 15 minutes, I feel like you could have had a little more of a sandbox to play in when everybody kind of is coherent of the ground rules.
Yeah.
I think part of what makes this movie so offensive is that it starts over. Or, you know, it's just like the beginning.
Exactly.
If it wasn't called George A. Romero's Something of the Dead, and it was called, like, even if it was released, it was written and directed by George Romero, but it was actually released as Jason Creed's Death of Death.
Oh, yes. Oh my God, that would be hilarious. They should have done that.
You would come to it differently, you know.
Totally. When you first said, I think the most offensive thing about this movie, I thought you were going to point out the abuse of the deaf Amish man that's about to happen.
No, this is the best part of the movie.
This is the best part. This is like, on paper, I feel like on paper this shouldn't have worked, and it's so funny that this is one of the only things in this movie that actually worked really well.
I really like this part. I thought,
love this guy.
It was kind of heartwarming.
Yes.
I mean, but before we go on though, this whole scene and like ending the whole beginning arc where like you said, we're like establishing the rules of this version of zombies.
Yeah.
I like something that frustrates me about many zombie movies, and this is a perfect example of it, is like, this is supposed to take place in real life, but not a single one of them even knows the term zombie. Like, I feel like sure, you could make the excuse that like not every person is gonna immediately know you got to shoot him in the head, whatever. Like, but I feel like it's so rare that people in zombie movies that are supposed to take place in real life have any like pre-knowledge of zombies as a thing. Like,
to with like, even somebody be like, "Are they zombies?" Don't say that. Like,
no,
even something as small as that.
Like,
that's a fucking great point, because any other movie that we've dealt with classic creatures, like a fucking vampire movie, you know what I mean? There have been like someone like Fright Night, you know what I mean? Like, you got a kid obsessed with vampire movies, or friends, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's this back history, and I do, it's so fucking weird. Is that in like, zombie movies, it's all not. Like, there's none of that. Like, they're in a universe where zombies aren't a thing at all.
Yeah.
And like, not every movie needs to be Zombie Land, where it spends the first 5 minutes being like, these are zombies. Zombies come back from the dead, and this is how you kill them. Like, I'm not expecting every movie to be like that, but it just seems like it's like, what is it about zombies and zombie movies that like everyone in the universe of the movie forgets that zombies are like a central, like extremely common horror monster.
Yes.
That everybody knows from childhood, basically.
And it's kind of hard at this point, where in the time that we're living in, well, especially like 2007, it's more believable from like the 1960s drop of a movie where nobody really knew what the zombie genre was.
Night of the Living Dead made the genre what it is.
So that's so believable. Like, it would be believable if this was set in that time.
Not internet 2007.
2007, where they're like, the net has all this stuff.
I thought about that. I was like, when would I have last called it the net? Could I have still called it that in 2007? And then I was like, well, what would I say now? Like, we got information online, I guess.
Online. I think online would be what I would say.
Yeah.
What, you surfing the web?
Yeah, information superhighway.
Oh. All right. So they have so fuel line gets busted. They wind up at Samuel, a deaf Amish man. and they're kind of repairing the line. They kind of barricade this barn up, and then the group realizes that like, oh, there's a back entrance. Oh, wait, that might not be completely closed all the way. So as
zombies surround the place.
They surround the place. They're trying to, there's stuff inside and outside. They kind of close it up. They think they got it in time, but they definitely didn't. And we get, I'm just leading up to one of the most insane, weirdest deaths I think I've ever seen in a Romero movie, which is the like fucking scythe Sabuku. Like this dude literally commits ritualistic suicide by scythe through his own fucking head to kill a zombie behind it. And I was like, brutal. I was like, only the Amish could fucking do something that hardcore.
I'm going to go ahead and say it, though. I don't know that an Amish person would actually do this because they're like extremely religious. And I feel like suicide is not.
He did grow up in an area with a lot of Amish people around.
It's very true. Like, I feel like once they realized that the dead were walking the earth, I feel it would be a lot more like screaming to God versus sticks of dynamite.
Yeah, and, I don't know what Samuel's doing with a stick of dynamite. I got to admit though, that's probably my favorite scene in the movie where he just like he runs in, lobs a lit stick of dynamite, and then it turns around as the soil is raining down around him. It just says, "I'm Samuel. Hello."
Best intro to a Romero character, probably.
It's the best part of the whole movie. There's a reason It's the only part I remembered. I liked as he's writing notes on the board. He's like, "Yeah, you can go in there," and he writes, "Hurry." They're like, "Why?" And he would just point to the zombies.
Oh my god!
Also,
too good.
Maybe it was just me, but I thought that like the establishing shot coming into the scene where we see the house and it pans over to the barn, it almost like the house shape almost looked like we could have been seeing the backside of the original Night of the Living Dead house.
Oh, right? Interesting.
I wish.
I don't know if
I don't have the notes on that,
but it looked familiar.
Is that house still up, like the original one?
I don't know, but Walmart bought the Monroeville Mall, so that's probably going to be a Walmart soon.
Is that a good or bad thing? What was it now? A mall?
A mall? Yeah, mall? It's pretty much a dead mall, from what I understand. Ironically. From what I understand, there is like a little George Romero zombie store in there. And not much else going on. I know a horror con happens.
Maybe we can
Monroeville.
Go.
I mean, it's out near Pittsburgh.
Let's do it. We're going.
Road trip.
Yeah.
All right, so we get a little time after unfortunately, I wish Sam would have just stayed throughout the entire thing. Deaf Sam, sorry, not you, Sam. Deaf Sam. We should have, I feel like he should have stopped on. I know he righteously killed himself.
It worked out perfectly.
It worked out great.
Honestly,
like a Harold and Kumar character.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mad that this character and this death is in this movie. Like, I feel like
it's too good of a
death.
It's too good of a death for this movie.
I feel like it needs to be part of another, because it's going to be forgotten in the ethos of the world.
Right.
Totally.
We should just master cut it into another Romero movie with no context.
It'll be
the Samuel cut. It'll be the Sam cut.
Love it.
All right, so yeah, they start scoping out of town for gas and a bunch of other stuff, and then they realize that they've kind of been had by a group of bandit entrepreneur. I don't know, depending on what side of the fence you're going to be on about it. But the whole town left, and you have this group that basically kind of just took all the resources of the town and have now stockpiled themselves in, which seems like an insanely fucking smart plan. Everything about this. Absolutely.
This is like what you should do in the zombie apocalypse. Get everyone in the rec center, go out and collect everything from the town.
Yes. And it's also what is shit. I hate Deb's fucking condescending weird remarks to this dude where I'm like, what are you doing? This is you literally got a community of people that are now completely stockpiled. They have this and they have weaponry. This guy literally is National Guard. So it's this guy is just going okay, cool. We're setting this up. You know what I mean?
What did she say that you hate?
Oh no, there was just a few where it's like there was just some like backhanded things through the dialogue of like her talking to like the leader, where it was kind of
like there was one where he was like, oh yeah, there's no gas in the gas station, we siphoned all of it, and she's like, that's looting.
Oh sure, yeah.
Well, it's like, I mean, this society's gone, so tough titty.
So all these guys are black.
Yes.
And it is like everybody left, and now we can take care of ourselves. So that's what we're doing. And this to me is totally Romero putting in,
oh, absolutely.
some
100%
political stuff, which
where
this movie doesn't have a ton of. And again, this is just like a little snippet. Yeah. But it's him doing that, which that is one of the few. It's the only nice thing I can say about the movie is he still tries to have some social commentary in there.
Yeah. Deb with her Karen comments were just like, it's just like, God damn it. Like, stop with your white privilege. Like, that's looting. It's like, no,
that's what I was going to say.
You defibrillated a woman's head fucking less than 10 hours ago. Like, get out of here.
I think where in Night of the Living Dead, Barbara is doing nothing, Deborah is doing too much.
Too much? Yes. They overcorrected way too much.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I liked these guys. I liked that part about the National Guard where he's like, well, we could just hang out till the National Guard comes. He's like, they're not coming. He's like, how do you know? He's like, I'm in the National Guard. It's like, good, nice. And I like that actor, whoever the lead guy of the group was.
Yeah.
Because he's not like,
we've talked about how bad the performances are. I thought he was pretty good for what it called for.
Mm-hmm.
It's and specifically with this one, where he's not like it's not tyrannical. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like all of this looting, all this, even at the end of it, where he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna fucking shoot you. Take whatever they fucking like. Just give them what they need. You know what I mean? Like, but during this, we also get a really fucking cool cat and mouse type thing, because one of the people in this group has a bad heart and died, and now they can't find the body in this labyrinth of, it's like someone dying in a very compact, very dimly lit Costco. And and then you gotta like, you're playing
horrifying.
now you're playing like in the dark Marco Polo. It's fucking like, I hate it. While this is going on, Jason's got internet access and he's uploading stuff, and we're kind of getting he's been uploading everything to the internet, so people have been kind of responding back to it. And
not just the internet, Ross.
I'm sorry.
MySpace. He's gone viral on MySpace.
72,000 hits or something like that, or like 80,000 hits or something around those lines.
Yeah, I want to know what annoying song was playing on his profile though when you went onto it.
And it's Deborah and his top friends.
Yes. Yeah, it's something acoustic. It's going to be something whiny and acoustic.
Do you guys remember your songs on your profiles?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now I'm blanking on the name of it. It was a song by Astronautilus, who is like a indie rapper. Ended up being my mainstay.
Yeah.
And then my background picture was like a repeated image from the movie City of God. There's a part where like a guy and a girl are sitting on the beach looking at each other, and it's just like a beautiful cinematic shot. And that was like my repeated thing.
Oh, nice.
Troll 2 was one of my favorite movies. I was contacted by the kid who played Joshua because of that.
Oh, nice. Shit. That's nice. It was, hey, Sam, get that off of your MySpace page. Don't ever type my name
embarrassing
again.
Yourself.
You're embarrassing yourself. Oh, God. All right, yeah. So they're uploading. They're trying to get back. And then we get, we get acid to the head zombie death. Which
It's slow.
I was, it's one of these rare instances, specifically for like a Romero movie, where I'm like, fucking CGI, but it was done well with it. I actually thought, I was like, okay, I would have liked like an after like head thump or like a cut scene where like you actually get practical effects of like the aftermath. But like that head melt was great.
It was
I didn't think it looked very good. I would be honest.
Yeah. It didn't age. I mean, in terms of CGI, I don't think it aged insanely well. But again, we got goth lighting, and it's like the weird warehouse lighting where I'm like, this is so close with getting away with it that like I'll let it ride.
I guess the inside of it looked good. Like what if you were looking in the wound?
Yes.
But to me, I felt like I was following a little mouse, just following the guy's head as he moved around like a cursor. You know what I mean? It felt like very just stuck on top.
Right. So after Zombie's killed, crisis averted, they take everything they need to after a nice little back and forth. You're not going to shoot us. Then just fucking kill us, bro. Get in the RV, Deb. Get in the fucking RV. All right, so they set out to go to Deb's house because in the meantime, she actually got a voicemail or a call from her brother that they were camping while this whole thing was going on. So they're heading back to the house. So they get to Deb's place and it's like, oh, they haven't shown up yet. You know, hey, let's just head out. And then everyone's like, are you just we're going to just leave her alone in this house by herself? So I like how everyone's like, deuces to like, you know, maybe we should all of us hang out for a little bit.
It was so strange. They were like, yeah, we'll come back for you. Like, no, what are you gonna do? The world is ending. But like one thing I did want to mention when we were still in the last scene, is like I'm very confused by the geography of this film, because they are, from the context of information we have here, they're going to Scranton.
Yeah,
Scranton is the opposite corner of Pennsylvania from Pittsburgh, and they're Pittsburgh. And so they have recently left Pittsburgh. They're far enough away from Pittsburgh that they have gone through most of their gas. They are somehow 65 miles from Scranton, but only 100 miles from West Virginia. I don't know that there is a point in Pennsylvania where those two things can be true at the same time.
Same time.
No.
Especially given that by the time that they get to her house, that's 100 miles from from West Virginia, that they are, I guess, closer to Scranton because they're going in that direction. I don't know. I'm calling foul on this a little bit.
No, I agree. I always just pictured in Romero movies where Pennsylvania is just the size of the United States because everything is just set usually in like somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Well, Pennsylvania is huge. It can take it's like 6 hours to drive across. It's probably a 5-hour drive from Pittsburgh to Scranton alone.
Yeah. And then just having we should, you know what? We should do the Diary of the Dead road trip and see if we can try to trek the same thing. Ooh, that'll be a plan. That'll be our.
I like that.
All right.
Yeah. Our RV.
We'll all rent an RV.
We just do a of the Dead. We gotta hit up Monroeville Mall before it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the Abaddon Hotel in Pennsylvania somewhere? I know that's not of the Dead, but I think so.
The Abaddon Hotel.
Yeah,
that's in New York.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
We can go to New York. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right,
it's a detour. We'll do of the Dead.
Detour.
Yeah, then we'll do the Damnation detour and go to the Abaddon Hotel.
I think that's a plan.
I like that.
Okay, I'm into that. Yeah. All right. So they basically kind of. Again, they get to Deb's house. They arrive. They kind of walk around. The alarm goes off, and they get into the garage. And whoa, Deb's family's there, but it looks a little fucked up. So there seems to they've gotten into an accident. It looks like the passenger side. And this was one of the only ones where like I kind of felt bad for Deb because it was this like she got so analytical because it was her family. That I was like, oh, I kind of feel this where I'm like, God, if I had just stumbled upon something and not known what was going on with my family, like, I feel like I would react in a very similar, like, okay, if this is this, this is this. Okay. We need to figure this out. You know what I mean? And then getting into the house and then, oh man, it's a brother, right? That just hops on her.
Little brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little brother.
Yes,
little
brother. And this guy gets pinned directly to the wall with the arrows.
By the professor.
By the professor.
The key is to drink as much as you can.
As much as you can.
I feel like they almost had to put this in to have the professor have done something in this movie other than deliver monologues that don't make sense if you read the words in order and drink.
Yes. Yes. Like he looked out at his script and he goes, what is this my title, Eagle Eye Alcoholic? He goes, no, that's what you do. So like you're just drunk, but you're a really good shot. And that's pretty much what we need you for.
Honestly, we have the George A. Romero Avengers here. We had She-Hulk. Now we have Hawkeye, who's out here.
Perfect.
So true.
It's forming.
Ooh, undead Avengers assemble.
There's also so random, but her house looked exactly like a house that I saw in The Sopranos. Like one of them had this house. I don't think it's the same.
It could be the same house.
It looked familiar.
I want to believe that Deb's parents were actually part of the mafia.
They were part of the Sopranos. Yeah,
they're part of the Sopranos.
Yeah.
It's a big loop around.
They're mafia. Oh man.
Yeah. There's just a zombie Tony Soprano somewhere floating in a pool with ducks.
It explains why she hates being on video so much.
Yeah, she can't have.
True.
Herself.
Yeah. I'm actually in witness protection. That's why I got out of documentaries. So then after murdering her mom as well,
she was eating her dad.
Yeah, was eating her dad.
Nice thing.
That like no, mom, don't
munching on that foot.
I think we should all leave. No, I like the professor who's like, we got to get out of here. It's like, no fucking shit. Like you just murdered her entire zombie. Everyone needs to leave. So they bounce out again. And then they are now going like, well, fuck, I guess our only option is kind of just go to Ridley's house. Cause like, also during the, when they were uploading everything, they got a call from Ridley at his place and he's just drinking champagne and just be like, no, you should fucking come down, man, come party. Literally, if you want to, anytime, you and the group, come on through. I probably would have agreed to that like the second. I mean, obviously go to Deb's place because you got the voice from the brother.
Well, yeah.
That would have been the logical, like, okay, we need to just fucking go there.
Though I do think a panic room is a good idea. And if we have a house, I feel like we should install a panic room where we can be safe and make it cute
plumbing
and comfy.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Plumbing.
No food though. You got to leave to get food and video editing software.
Editing software. There you go.
Because I mean, you're going to document it. Like you're totally fine. And you do need to bring your own supplies because once night falls, the group they get stopped by 4 soldiers from the National Guard who seem to have kind of the same mentality that Deb did. He goes, so where'd you get all these supplies from? Oh, friends, right? Oh, great. Can we be your friends?
Yeah, saw that coming.
Yeah. So they get thoroughly fucking looted, but they have to make the point of saying like, well, they left us our weapons.
I don't know that they would have, like in real life, they would have taken their weapons.
I think there was this very thin veneer of like, well, I mean, they're soldiers in a war. They're not going to let you just die out here. It's like, no, they probably would have.
Like they want that ammo.
Yeah, or they would have just siphoned the rest of the stuff and just murdered everyone and just taken the RV. Like that probably would have been the bullet. Oh no, we're not going to move the boxes. We're going to move
that RV.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
They were set.
They were fine. All right, so they finally get over to Ridley's house. The front gate is open. The front door is open. And then surprise, Ridley still dressed up as a fucking
still in the mummy costume.
Still in the goddamn mummy costume. I'm like,
now, here's the question. Do you think that he because he would have gotten home, this is at least the next day. Do you think that he did change because in the video he was not in the mummy costume anymore, right? When they were on video for the video call.
I think
he didn't have his makeup. He just didn't have the face makeup on.
Yeah, he didn't have.
He had his I thought the same thing because I like on my second I was like, maybe it's.
I was like, I guess he's just been drinking like since he got here.
Just getting fucking shithoused. This kid.
No, I need my PJs on.
Right.
For the apocalypse.
Oh god. Yeah. So he emerges out of this fucking panic room. That emerges out of the library, which is like just awesome. Just the concept of just having like the fake fucking door that's just all the books and stuff like that was just like, so Scooby-Doo, so amazing. So they go to unload the caravan, and then Tony starts, oh my God. Tony just starts filming because now like Tony's now got roped into like videotaping at this point where you're just like, okay, fine, fuck it.
Yeah.
They've also been getting security footage from all these buildings they've gone into so that they can cut it into this.
And everyone with a camcorder also, they've taken that camcorder, deleted the existing footage after watching it, and then started recording their own stuff.
So this is what I realized after the fact. Is that like if I was the leader of that group that let all of them go after the debacle with all the supplies and stuff like that, and then serendipitously, about 12 hours later, I stumbled on the internet and found an entire video of videotaping all of, again, my people, the place where I'm at, all the supplies that I have, all of the security footage and how to get into the fucking building. I would have been like, oh, cool. You just murdered my entire colony of people. We have to evacuate and leave literally tonight. Like,
wow. Who released this, Deborah?
I think at that point it's still Jason. I guess would be
Jason.
The one that,
yeah, he's the one who put it on.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But I thought I was like, oh my God, dude, fuck you. Like there were so many other ways you could have done that. But like same thing. But you took their security footage. That's like zooming in on the keypad at the front gate, going like, okay, I just want to let everybody know it's a documentary, but the entrance to get into this highly secure thing is 1, 2, 3, 4. Just and then there's hundreds of gallons of gasoline
on my luggage.
Thank you, Cody.
You're welcome.
All right, so yeah, this is, and now we're getting erratic behavior from Ridley. Especially he's like, oh no, my parents and everybody, they're in the back, they're fine. And then they go, well, like, how fine are they? And he goes, oh, I mean, they're dead. Yeah, they're all dead. Someone got bit, and then dad got mom got the servants, and then I just put them all in timeout. And by timeout, he just shoved them in the pool. Like it's
honestly though, this was such a cool reveal shot though.
Yes, it was.
Like he turns on the lights and there's like 20 people in this fucking pool just like wandering around. And then of course you get the zoom into his wrist where you're like, shit. We can't have anything good, can we?
No. Yeah, we can't have anything fucking nice. So, yeah, God damn it. At this point, they notice the bite on the hand. And at that point, really pretty much quickly turns. So, like, he comes in, he collapses on the ground, wakes back up, and is really pissed.
He can shamble now.
He can definitely shamble now. And he's also super pissed about, I don't know, he doesn't throw the lamp, but I always pictured, like, the weird vase that he knocks over, that, like, he woke up really drunk and also a zombie. So he's like, I hate this. Yeah. Also flesh. So, oh my God. All right. So Jason is filming Tracy unloading the caravan outside, and then fucking zombie Ridley shows up, starts attacking her. And then we have this crazy deja vu moment because this is the beginning of the fucking movie. Yeah. But now he's shambling correctly and like having this really weird dissociation. If you didn't think Jason was a sucking sociopath by like, I don't know, outing caravan or outing outposts of fucking survivors and doing a bunch of other shit, he's just actively videotaping a woman getting attacked by a zombie. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, he's now gone fucking off. Like everybody in this movie has gone like off the deep end in one which way or another.
But we gotta show the people what's really happening.
Yeah, don't rely on Jason.
We don't need to help our friends. We need the truth to get out.
We need the truth. And the truth is that your ass is going to be running through the woods. And then this is where we get the trip, the fall, and then the like gratuitous boob shot. And then he decides to help both of them. And then he decides to help out last, but he's like, cut. She's like, it's not a fucking movie. He goes, no, I'm trying to distract him. Now that I got the footage that I need, man, for like my fucking movie, like the whole time, you know? So Jesus fucking Christ. So rightfully so, Tracy fucking smacks fucking Ridley and then runs to the goddamn RV and drives off. Because like if I just had this dude try to videotape me and then like did not help me until kind of I was almost dead,
I'm getting out of here.
Yeah,
I can't trust anybody.
And this is where she drops the "Don't mess with Texas," right? Is this like the? I think it's like "fuck you guys, don't mess with Texas," and then like meow.
Just her catchphrase.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought she said at the beginning of the movie too.
Yes. Yeah. She's like, fuck you guys. And then out, done. And then I guess it wasn't a good enough head blow because Ridley now goes from the middle of the woods back into the mansion enough to tackle Elliot, who still has a full goddamn bathtub with a hairdryer. Death in a zombie apocalypse, death by hairdryer. By getting like tackle mouth hugged by a mummy. Not a bad way to go. I mean, it's terrible way to go.
What are the odds?
What are the odds on that?
Why? He was doing so well. He had a clean shower. Shower? Yeah.
Yeah. Bath? It was a bath. I don't know. Shower bath.
Filthy shower.
It was a filthy shower. He was real dirty before he had that. I like the first, he's like, I need to take a bath and I need complete privacy and I need you to tell everybody to go away while I'm taking this bath.
Want to come back to my place for a filthy shower?
Well, he was fapping with the Mothman.
Nice.
Nice. Well, all this is going on. Professor Maxwell sees all of this stuff and they're like, we should fucking go to the panic room as he's like heavy arm sway shuttles through a bunch of booze and then slowly starts like crawling back. He's like, we should get back in the panic room while just dragging the liquor bar into this fucking thing with him.
Well, you need the essentials.
Oh, absolutely. But then Jason refuses because he's like, I don't want to be stuck in there. Fucking like, I don't give a fuck about survive. Who wants to survive in this shit? I'm going to fucking make my movie. And within 10 seconds of him saying that, he gets fucking murked. That to me is just like, you deserve that, dude. Like, there's a few times where I'm like, usually in a Romero movie, I need to have my villain do some pretty horrendous shit, or at least for the track record, say some highly racist shit and then just get
they've gone that
murdered.
far.
They've gone that far. And that's usually what the baddie was. And in this one, he was like, I'm going to make a movie and then just fucking gets annihilated.
He's just annoying.
It's very fucking annoying. And at this point, like, oh my God. Yeah, so like, Zombie Ridley, it gets fucking head sliced. That's right, because now we've got the claymore now. He's gone from bow and arrows to claymore, so he like cleaves this fucking dude in half. And then like Jason's lying on the floor. Deborah's like, no, she's like, please keep on shooting. And she's like, now she takes his fucking advice and then takes it. And then like, this is where we kind of get our next morning. And then like Jason wanted me to film this and like, God, Jesus Christ. So they start recording all their stuff. And at this point, like hundreds of just a shit ton of a horde is basically descending upon the house. So they kind of lock the panic room and then like sealing basically all three of them in there. And then kind of like no hope of escape or rescue. And then the movie ends with like Deborah basically just kind of saying like the last scene of the hunters that have all the zombies strapped up and that like
which again we've like seen before,
already saw it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yes, we get like, I feel like this was the greatest hits of Romero messages in one movie.
Yeah, you could say that.
You know what I mean? Where I'm like, I didn't need the mixtape. Give me the album. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, people are bad. And then like, although the girl with the ponytail hung up from the tree and then blasting her with a shotgun and then just like the top part with her eyes still moving was pretty decent.
That's cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is one of those just kind of pointlessly cool thing. I mean, there is
visually it's an idea, but it didn't add or do anything to the actual movie.
I mean, listen, if we're going to grade this as if we were the professor doing the final project, you don't save your best shot for the last shot of the movie, right? You want it to be in the climax. There's something like above par for the last shot, but
I mean, I feel like there's iconic last shots. we're talking about shots, and I was going to lead to filthy, but I stopped
Go
myself.
for it. Come on.
Come.
There's been a lack of it in this movie, actually.
I was going to say, I think it's not a great Romero movie when there's only I'm counting maybe 2.5 cum jokes, and we're an hour and a half
What
in.
happened?
What
It's
happened
a great
to us?
Amy movie. Or maybe it's because Brian's not here.
Yeah,
Oh,
is Brian
that's true.
the source of the
The cumtrecta. No, it's like a trifecta, but it's the cumfecta.
Brian.
Oh, so close. All right. So do you guys have any kind of like final
Last
thoughts
notes?
on this? Yeah. Last notes on Death of Death.
I think
I'm so glad I'm talking about this movie with you guys.
Yeah.
You guys make it so fun to talk about, but
It
boy,
it is I feel that this, I will say this about this movie, is that I thought the potential, like the idea for me was really cool. And I thought that the beginning of it had the potential to be just this really interesting point of view from the perspective of like the initial zombie outbreak. And man, oh man, he did too good of a job making a college film, because it's just like, again, I think forever, guys, I will be baffled is this such a good movie that he made a bad college film, or was this so bad just by happenstance it just looks like a really good college film?
Honestly, I think the thing that I struggle with,
not a good college film.
The thing that I struggle with the most is like, who is watching this multiple days into this apocalypse, where like, there will, if not already, very soon be no more internet, no more electricity. You just edited this to make yourself feel less guilty about giving your boyfriend the most shit about always having his camera on.
Yeah,
like
it is very
ultimately why she did this.
Yes, I think the goals of a lot of the characters in here are insanely masturbatory. You know what I mean? Like they're not.
Make no mistake, my goal is to scare you.
Yeah. Why? The dead are walking the earth. I don't need to get like.
Yeah, this isn't gonna. What am I gonna glean from this that I haven't already experienced in my life? And why would I go online to watch this?
Yes.
Like, unless you're like New Zealand, you successfully haven't had an outbreak and you're keeping everybody out or something.
And I feel with the messaging at the end where she says, "Are we worth saving?" I feel like it doesn't match what we just watched, because we saw some great characters and we didn't really go through like super shitty things if we're in the span of like zombie movies. You know, like there's been tons of movies where the real villains are the people that we have to, you know, and they've gone through some really horrific things and manipulation from people. But this one didn't seem to meet that mark. Right?
No, totally. I think like I think in a lot of the Romero movies, there is always this like at least silver lining of like a lot of horrendous things can happen, but humanity can still survive it. And I feel
like
that
it brings out the best in the humans who can make it to the end.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think that like, I'm not even saying like this kind of like sullies the messages of the previous movies, but it's just like having it just like, are we worth saving? It's like, you don't have to be edgy about this. Like it's come on. It's such a moody ending where you're like,
it is so moody, but it for me, it just didn't match what we saw. Like, I feel like I needed it to be as brutal and as moody as you're telling me. Like, you're right. Are we? Because look at what this guy fucking just did to our friends. Like, what, you know, and it wasn't the zombies. It was us trying to survive.
And to be totally honest with you, the worst people that they dealt with still left them their weapons. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where like there wasn't this like loss of, you know, this utter violation.
A nice guy who
of
sacrificed himself for us.
Yes. Yeah, you had literally a deaf Amish man kill himself with a scythe because of you people.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not have any faith in humanity after that shit? You know what I mean? Where I'm like, God, it's just no.
Yeah. Like the message, I totally get. Like there's parts where I'm not really walking around being like, "Are we worth saving?"
Out of here, Deb.
But I totally get the messaging. I just wish it was maybe a little bit more consistent with how brutal it could have gotten.
Exactly. No, I got you. All right. I think we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to get back and crawl into our crematorium of questions. All right, welcome back. Thanks for that. No, we don't have anything in between the bumps, but maybe there will be this time. Who knows? Let's get into our crematorium of questions.
Okay, Cher.
It puts the
Is that what Cher sounds like?
it puts the lotion on his skin, or else it gets the questions again. Are we surviving Diary of the Dead?
I wanted this Diary of the Dead. I feel like, yeah.
You could. I think this is one of the more plausible ones. Although there was and we didn't actually, funny enough, we didn't even talk about it during the movie synopsis. I do like the fact that they bring up the fact of the human on human violence because of the disorder of when everything went down exponentially jumped the numbers of all these zombies in like major cities and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's in audio, but they do bring that up where it's like, well, this should have been a contained thing if everybody was logical about it, but nobody was, and everybody was just murdering and shooting each other and like just being like complete societal upheaval.
Yeah.
I still feel that I feel that we could probably, because they're slow. I mean, Chuddle and Horror Bandwagon in an RV running around. We got this. I feel like we did.
Everybody.
Of all of them, this is the one we're least likely to survive. Of all the Romero movies.
I think that we are the most likely to survive in this one solely because there's a character with an entire panic room that we could have accessed the first 5 minutes of this movie.
We just try to get there, and then we just chill in there for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. Actually, with the group of guys, the black group of guys, the militant guys that are militant-ish.
Oh, we chill with them.
I would have been like, do you guys need extra help? Because this seems like the place to be.
Because they got to move their whole operation over the course of 12 hours.
And we don't have people. Yeah. I mean, we do have families, so maybe we should check up on them.
Yes. Knock real quick.
But this one is like the beginning, and we're not safe in a home, and we don't know what's going on yet or how it works. And everything's being taken over quickly.
That's true.
Are we?
Seems rough.
Are you guys making it gooier? Are we gonna? How do we make this gooier? I mean, you could do a little more gut flops. Some
wanted more
ripping
often.
apart.
Yeah, just do more.
You know what's funny?
Do more.
The whole movie right there.
Just do more. Is this the first? No, I guess technically. No, I would even say in the first one they had it. This is the first zombie Romero movie that I've seen that didn't have a horde pulling apart a person or ripping them apart.
I don't know. I can't recall in the first one.
Well, the first one is like the car explodes and they're like eating the remains of the body, but they're like hunched over, like eating it, which is kind of a half step. But like we don't even really get a lot of that in this.
This is the first one though that there's no zombie humanity, right? At all. Like, because even in the first movie, they can use a rock to break a window or something.
Oh, that's true.
There's no progression here.
No.
For the zombies.
Yeah. So this is more just like lurching kind of,
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say, give me some more. Give me one person getting ripped apart by a horde, and then that might bump my rewatchability up to a 0.25.
Hard to get away.
Did the professor die?
No. Not that we're aware of.
Mysteriously.
I feel like Deborah should have been the last one, and then everyone else could go.
Yes. She just shoves everybody else out of the panic room and just locks it.
Honestly.
Then rings a bell like dinner.
I would have dug that ending.
All right. How are we? Yeah. Let's go into the villain level here. Do we have... What are you guys giving these zombies in comparison to the other ones? I mean, I think lower because like they can't use tools. They're not. They ain't thinkers. They're more like shamblers.
These zombies are dumb.
Yeah,
and there's no like. I feel like in the previous installments there were certain ones that had their own personality and looks to them.
Yes.
I'm like, that's the whatever, or that's that person.
There's the baseball player. There's the doctor. There's the lawyer. There's the businessman. There's
and this one just seemed
that guy
kind
without
of
a shirt.
generic, you know?
Yeah, I would say like power level. I'd probably give this like normal zombies, probably like a 2. You know what I mean? Like nothing super crazy. Iconography, I do agree with you. I feel is lower than the other ones. Although we didn't even talk about, we got that sweet clown zombie with the honk honk nose fall off. Which I feel with the birthday party, which I feel
that's true.
Like that one might a little bit. Even Greg Nicotero as the surgeon with his makeup, like I feel like there's some iconic makeup, but because it's so spread out, like you don't get the full punch of these zombies.
Yeah.
Well, and the way it looks too, like the way it's filmed, that sort of dirt filter or whatever you call it.
Yes, the goth filter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. Maybe I give these villains a 4 total. Maybe like a 2 and a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
That feels right for me.
What do you think, Sam?
I think you guys are being generous. I'd go 2 and 1 for
2 and 1. Okay. All right. Between like a 3 and a 4. I can take that. Does Diary deserve a sequel? Are we making a sequel to? Is the Depth of Death getting a part 2?
No, I can't.
No.
I actually would.
You want something progress from this? You want Deborah back?
I don't want Deborah. Deborah can go stay in that little hidey hole. I would love. What's the name of the girl from Texas who just takes
Tracy.
off in the RV?
Tracy or something like that.
Tracy.
Yeah.
I'd love like the next couple minisodes in this
series
thing that got turned into a movie. I would like them to focus back on her. She was giving me very like final girl energy. She was willing to put down her boyfriend. She was handy. You know, she was able to tell it was the fuel line just from sitting in the driver's seat, which I'll go for her. I mean,
impressive.
Yeah.
My sequel is actually going to be for the Amish deaf guy. What's his name? Samuel. Because somehow the sights just missed his brain and he's actually okay.
He went in between the left and right hemisphere of the brain and went directly in the center.
Directly through, and he's
perfectly
completely
a 1 in a
fine.
trillion shot.
So he did a hemispherectomy to himself.
Yeah,
Yes.
and now he's going to be fine, and we're joining him on his adventure.
And he can
get bit
and he
by
can
the
hear
zombie. But that would be interesting. Or it's like it only turns half of his brain, so he's like half human, half zombie.
Ooh.
Half human, half zombie Amish person.
Oh wow! So
it's a reality show.
It's the reality show. Are we getting the soundtrack to this one?
I don't remember any music in this one.
You know, the second I was like, maybe, and then I'm like, no, it's a moody college film. You're not going to want any of the stuff that's in this.
No.
Do we have an action figure? I mean, I kind of want a Samuel action figure, just with like a spring-loaded like scythe that goes in and out of the, you know.
If I had to have something, it would be him, but no, I don't want anything.
No.
Yeah, nothing else.
I don't know. I mean, I could do with like a Ridley. You got that like mummy.
Oh, like mummy.
Oh, true. Okay. Yeah.
That'd be cute.
with a magnetic veil, so you could have it like on and off whenever you want. Yeah.
Who was our zombie leader last movie?
Oh, Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. I saw an action figure on eBay for him. I was thinking about it.
Oh.
I was thinking about getting him, but I mean, I think it was like $100.
Everybody needs a big.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was like,
you know, I was gonna say everybody needs a Big Daddy in their lives, but not for $100. I think you could get bargain Big Daddy and still get the same nostalgic feeling.
I was like, I'd only pay $5 for a Big Daddy. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Okay, so action figures kind of hit or miss. Are there any merch or props from this movie that you'd want?
I would take the Samuel's little chalkboard.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that's cute.
You know, doesn't take up much space. And merch, I had the idea for little zombie weighted zombies that you throw into the bottom of the pool, like the weights and stuff that you play as a kid where you dive in and grab them and pull them back up. But zombies.
But zombies. I like that. Yeah, I would do oh man, this genuinely is a tough one.
I just happened to think of that right before we got to this question.
Yeah,
I want the Professor's Flask. That's the piece of
there we go.
The piece I'm taking off the set.
I'm making a replica of the RV with them inside, and then like little zombie things that you run over.
Yes,
like a playset,
like an RCA car, and then just
you like roll it back and then let it go, and it just drives through.
Ooh, I like that. All right, that's going to be better than anything I come up with.
Like a bowling game.
Do we got a popcorn bucket? Is it just going to be a zombie head flipped upside down? What do we got? We got Ridley's head just mummified with the mummy makeup, just flipped up.
Could be that.
Or you got Mary's head with like the jaw shot off that you can just like reach.
That's kind of dark.
Into God. Reach into the cheek wound to get it out.
Ooh.
Yeah,
it could be that final shot zombie. That's the head with the ponytail.
See, it's not a popcorn bucket, but I would love the state trooper, but just as a s'more that you could just get at the concession stand.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that.
Yeah, just a little.
I'm going to piggyback off that. I'm going to have a mug or like a drink accessory that you're going to drink for drinks of the nurse head with a defibrillator and they're like handles. So you drink like this.
God, yes. That's a good one. Just the defibrillators on each side, and then when you press each one of them, the eyes light up.
Yes.
That'd be
cool. I'm getting too excited for merch for this movie.
For this movie, yeah, right? See, if we were in charge of the merchandising for this movie, I feel like it would have done better.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said and done.
Did this release in theaters, by the way?
You know?
I believe it did.
It did.
It did?
Yes. I think this was in theaters.
Sure.
I don't know how long it was in theater.
Yeah. It did give me like straight to like streaming vibe.
Oh, yeah. This was a straight to DVD release. For sure.
Oh,
it
felt that way. Absolutely. All right. So it is now time to, let's get into our movie ratings.
Oh, shoot.
Ching, pong, ping, pong, ting, fingers doing things.
Brian, keep that whole thing in there. Now it's time to pull out our machetes as we rate this film on our Chuddle scale. On this show, we like to use our subjective rating scale of 0 to 5 fingers. Each cutoff finger adds to the score, with more fingers equaling a higher score. Sam?
Yes.
How many fingers are we gnawing off and spitting out for Diary of the Dead?
All right, let's find out. Engaging. I guess I'll give it a 0.5. I was really uninterested in watching it, and I watched it anyway. It wasn't like it wasn't that I couldn't pay attention to it. I just didn't like what I was watching.
Okay. Yeah.
For the most part. Sticky. I'll give it a 0.25. Assuming with the Samuel thing that I kind of remembered it when I saw it. I already forgot a lot of it as we're talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, that did happen.
Yes.
T-shirtable, that's a 0. No, thank you.
Nuh-uh.
There's a couple things that look good, but doesn't matter. No, thank you. Cockles, I'll give it a 0.25. I guess they're not non-existent, but they're just beyond non-existent. They're just beyond this non-existent. Really does nothing for me in almost every single way.
Okay.
And rewatchable, oof, that's gonna be a 0. I really don't want to see this again. Even if I'm watching Romero movies, I'll stop at Land or Jump to Survival. I haven't seen that one. It's the only one I haven't seen, so I don't know. But I just not your slice of video. I might watch it again one day. I'm not saying it'll never happen.
Yeah.
But if if someone suggested to watch it, I'd say, no, let's watch something else.
That's true. Okay.
So
I totally get
that gives me a 1 out of 5, and I'm fine with that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I guess I'm going to jump to myself, and then I think we have correspondence from Bry Guy.
I'll read it.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. So, man, it's going to echo a lot of what you're saying. Okay. So engaging, I'm actually going to give a 0.5. I originally had it at 0.75, but I also realized like the last time I watched it, I zoned out pretty hard for about 45 minutes of the runtime, which is pretty bad. But I think it's this weird intermixing of I'm engaged because it's that weird anti-engage where it's like I'm engaged in what's going on, but also I'm like a little more engaged in what's going on because I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Right.
Absolutely.
Or just kind of like logic choices, or just, you know what I mean? Which kind of goes into Sticky. I'm going to give Sticky a 0.5 actually, because I think that like Samuel's death is iconic enough in Sticky for me. And I think just how goofy and awesome the fucking pool scene was for me, with just like the CGI filter of all of them underneath. You know what I mean? Like, I think some of the stickier thing, again, I think it's anti-stick. Like, some of the things are so ludicrous, I have to remember them because of how ludicrous they were. Not necessarily because I liked it. It was more like it's now scarred into my brain. T-shirtable. Man, I was going to try to be funny and do a 0.25, but I just don't think that there's like, unless there's the deep cut that I get like the Death of Death documentary t-shirt. And that would specifically have to be gifted to me. As in, like, I'm not going to actually buy that, but like as a... that almost
sounds like a 0.25.
No, because honestly, like that would be some like edgelord shit. Like you would take out the Death of Death documentary t-shirt if you're just trying to be a hard-on. You know what I mean? Like you're not doing that for fun.
I was gonna say that's laundry day.
That is laundry day. So yeah, no, we're gonna stick it at a goose egg. Cockles is gonna get. I think Cockles is gonna get a point. It's gonna get a 0.25. It didn't, like I said, some of the stuff I really enjoyed. I really did like the beginning of it. I think that there are certain aspects of the Cockles hit because this was like a greatest hits album for every fucking George Romero message you could possibly have in the last 4 installments, just thrown into this one willy-nilly. So like, I do like the messages behind those. It's just they don't really land on any of them. So I think that's why I kind of like I'm engaged. It's fluffed the Cockles a little bit, but it's not enough to keep it
reminded you of other things that you actually like.
Exactly. These 0.25 Cockles reminded me of my full Cockles with other with other Romero ones. And then rewatchable, I am a glutton for punishment. So I am going to say that it's going to get a 0.25. I almost wanted to give it a 0.5, but I think now with getting through the entire Romero movie collection, zombie movie collection with you guys, is that like, I feel that this has a nice bow on it. As in like, once I'm done watching these, I'll watch the original trilogy probably. And then like, just for the amount of cum jokes, I'll probably watch Land. You know what I mean? But like this one was like, again, same thing. I had a blast talking about it, but goddamn, I had more fun talking about it here than I did the last 3 times I watched this, because that was like I was extracting nipple hair with like tweezers the entire time. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, if I got to do it for the pod, I'll do it. But like, God damn it. So what does that give me?
1.5 out of 5.
I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, seems fine to me.
Yeah.
All right. And then I do have Brian's scores. Engaging, 0.5. The only reason I'm engaged is because I'm wondering why they are making the choices they are making. Maybe it's purposely bad because a shitty film student made it. Question mark.
Exactly.
Sticky 0.25. I'm giving it a 0.25 because I'm still thinking about how dumb this was. I think I may have seen it before and forgot. T-shirtable 0. No. 0.25. I think I'm being generous. Rewatchable 0.25. I think I'm being generous. Total 1.25. Oof.
1.25.
Oh yeah. All right, Cody, Sergio, what are you guys giving this diary?
Well, I'll go first. I think for engaging, I think that I've been talked into a 0.5 because I do feel like I was like hate watching after a certain point.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what dumb decision are we going to make next? I'll give that a 0.5. Sticky, I gotta give this a 0. There's not much that I can. I literally watched this like a couple hours ago before, just to get another watch in before we recorded this, and I cannot remember hardly anything from this movie. So I gotta give that a 0. T-shirtable. Y'all know I love to like try to come up with some fun t-shirt idea. I honestly I cannot think of a single one. Yeah. Maybe if I had to pick, I would do like the zombies in the pool, just like under the water. Yeah. With like just a little like time out or whatever. I don't know.
Summers for chilling. Time out.
Like I'm really stretching for that one. Maybe I'll go 0.25 because I thought of an idea. Cockles. Yeah, no, I gotta give. I'm actually gonna take off points from trying to like stretch for a 0.25 for the professor, because honestly, you could have extracted that character from the movie completely, and we wouldn't have lost anything.
No, that's very true.
Except for someone with strangely unexplainable good archery skills.
Because of the war.
Because of the war. I'm gonna give it a 0. Rewatchable, I'm gonna give it a 0. So I think that sticks me at a 1. I feel comfortable with that. Or is it a 0? Not. Because I gave Sticky a 0. So it gives me a 0.75.
Wow.
Yeah.
0.75.
I feel comfortable with that. I actually, as I've been like thinking through, we've been discussing this, I would change if I were to like completely redo this from scratch. I would change the format of this movie a little bit. Instead of like I think that I want to, because I think part of the engaging points is I really respect that we tried to do a found footage zombie movie, because I feel like you don't usually see those two things together. And I think it was a valiant attempt, but considering like this really struggled to try to explain why we still had the camera the whole time, and that we had to just settle on this guy who has a actually suicidal desire
compulsion
to capture the footage at any cost, including his own life. I think that it struggled a little bit from that. What I would do instead, maybe to keep on that found footage train, is have this be a vlog for the time, because the whole purpose of his thing was like, I want to upload this to the internet. I would rather see it as like an episodic sort of thing where we get daily updates, or like a couple times a day of like, he's finally sitting down in front of the camera and he's like, he's filling in with some of the footage from the day of like what happened. I think that would have been a more interesting way to tell the story that kind of fits into what George Romero was trying to do with this, at least from what I could tell. So I feel like it should earn some bonus points. Like I really, really like the concept. It just like flopped on the execution for me. I feel good with a 0.75.
I totally agree with that.
For me, for engaging, I feel so awful because I did sleep several times during this movie, and I had to rewatch it because I'm like, what did I miss? I do think the characters,
and now you've seen it and you're like, what did I miss?
What did I miss? There's still stuff like that I forget, and as memorable as Samuel was. Samuel?
Yeah.
I still don't know if that's his name. So
right, exactly.
So engaging 0.25.
Okay.
For that, because I did want to try. I did want to, get through it and see it, but I feel so rude sleeping through movies, especially ones that we cover. What?
I said, do you feel rude sleeping through movies?
I feel bad, but Cody is a notorious sleeper through movies.
I am.
I do too.
Too sticky. 0.25 only for Samuel, and also because of just the weird acting choices that some of these actors do that are hilarious to me.
The yelling, pontificating.
0.25 for that. T-shirtable 0. I don't want a shirt from this place, from this movie.
Right.
For cockles, 0.25. Just it's there. It's a movie, and George A. Romero I respect.
Yeah.
And 5 rewatchable. 0. I don't think I want to rewatch this.
Yeah.
I also now associated with me feeling tired, so I'm like, I feel like it's gonna be like a schlep to get
so
through.
what you're saying is,
if you need to fall asleep,
Diary of the Dead is better than Z-Quil any day of the week.
Put 0.75 for each of you.
Do we have anything from the club?
I don't think the club had anything to say whatsoever, but let me check.
I don't. See,
nobody was like, Diary of the Dead? No.
See, sometimes, again, everybody, so we cover some movies that people haven't seen, which is fine. Sometimes I'm a little bummed out somewhere where I don't get the response. I'm like, oh, this one, I get.
It's okay.
I get that no one. You have one?
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
we have one, and it's funny because it touches on or it makes a point Sergio said earlier. So this is from Evan, our witchy brethren, and he said, I might be in the minority here, but I certainly enjoyed it. Very nostalgic when I get to watch it.
Okay.
So it's one of those things that he saw when he was younger
and loved it.
Because you talked about how if you were like, I could totally see if I saw this when it came out, I'd be here defending it.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's all. That's all he said.
That's all. Okay, so no,
and nobody else said anything.
So where does that? Where is Diary?
It's not going to be good. I'll tell you that.
I could audibly hear this movie drop and then do that.
Oh,
I'm just waiting for it to hit the bottom of our well.
I'm just wondering, what's it like paired with? What you guys? Yeah. Do you think you remember any movies that are that low of scale?
I think we have Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation. I think is probably knocking
Which was
around.
That one? Is that the 3D one?
Matthew McConaughey's in it with Reese. Was it Reese Witherspoon?
We have never seen that one.
Ooh, get yourself a hot bowl of chili and just sit down and just
You know what I'm thinking as I'm like marinating with this a little bit more is I feel like this is adopting a similar style to like the requel that we know and love, and it was just a little too early. I feel like if
it would be kind of, I feel like
if you were to make this today, even in trying to keep this exact same setup of like found footage and like we're uploading this because the media is lying, which could almost be more believable today.
Yes, right.
I think that with like the fact that a requel is a full-on formula for a movie now, that I think it could have helped a little bit from that. I think it was just a little too early and we didn't have that form really set yet.
Oh, totally.
I agree.
I would love for them to try to tackle this again, except set it in like, I don't know, mid-90s. You know what I mean? Where it's like, just exclude the whole internet factor out of it, and then just kind of like have it so it's like the same kind of environment from the original, but you can kind of add some current elements and current themes that kind of go with that without
How
having
are they going to record it for the internet?
Those huge clunky camcorders.
But at the same time, I kind of feel like we already have it with Rec or Quarantine, because even though it's not zombies technically,
right?
It's kind of similar.
Okay, so I got our collective score here, the Chuddle collective score, and in the Goo book, this is a 1.3. It is our only 1.3 because
stands alone.
Well, I don't know if some of these other ones have 0.25s as part of them too. Just below Diary of the Dead, at 1.2, we have Halloween Ends and Antichrist.
Okay, all right.
Oh my God.
Below that, at the lowest, at a 1, because Brian has a 0 for it, is Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
Wow.
Just above Diary of the Dead is Pizza at a 1.4.
Pizza?
Yeah, it's an Indian movie that Brian picked because it was on the top 250 horror movies on Letterboxd, and it was before they curated it properly. It is not on there anymore. It doesn't have enough people that have seen it. Not really a horror. I mean,
it's not really a horror movie.
No, it's
I see.
Also, even if it
is terrible,
just as a movie. 1.4 there, Curtains at 1.5, Cheap Thrills at 1.7, and Murder Party at 1.8, Child's Play 3, 1.8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would much rather watch Child's Play 3. Absolutely. I would pop that in right now.
That would be, that should be our next Chuddle battle thing, is the best of the worst.
The best of the worst.
So we just get the worst movies that we've covered and then just put them head to head to figure out which one is the best of the
That'd
worst.
Be funny.
Like the worst pick out of each franchise.
Yes, you're right. It's like worst sequels head to head with each other. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Sam. And that wraps up tonight's meeting of the Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club. Thank you for joining us as we delved into the found footage chaos of George Romero's Diary of the Dead. A huge, eternal, from the mountaintop shout out to our amazing guests, Cody and Sergio from the Horror Bandwagon. It is always a pleasure having you both along for these undead adventures. Be sure to check out their reacts. Check out their reactions. Check out their podcast wherever you listen, and follow them on socials at the Horror Bandwagon for even more horror goodness. You guys have any? What was your most recent upload for YouTube?
Oh, we just uploaded something today, which is Tuesday the 6th.
February 6th, 2025.
We are uploading Interview with the Vampire, the series, which is really good. We're actually already almost done with it on our Patreon. But we highly recommend, if you haven't seen it. But if you haven't seen it and want to just watch us watch it, then head over to our YouTube. We're covering it over there. And guys, thank you so much for having us on.
Yes,
of course. We're literally
this is always so much fun. We look forward to it every month.
It's that it's that franchise funness
episode.
Yeah, we have franchise. We have one more, which is what? Survival of the Dead.
It's the only one I have not seen before, so
I don't have high hopes after this one. I won't lie, but I'm going in very
honestly
centered.
I'm surprised that coming out of this movie, anyone was like, sure, here, have some money to make another one.
It's George Romero. I feel like if he has an idea, they'll be like, sure.
Under the stipulation, hey, you can make another one. It's never going to be a found footage one, ever.
Like,
we need an actual. Yeah, we just need a movie from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Was that his last one?
His last of the Dead movies.
Series.
I don't know if he made anything after.
He did. I don't know if he directed or he produced, but there was like Dead Time Stories. There was an anthology, but let's just say that the quality got substantially
happens diluted. A lot as directors get older. I feel like,
Okay.
Well, don't forget to join. Don't forget to join our Discord to keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts on the movie and connect with fellow club members. Follow us on the socials. So we've got Instagram, Chuddle the Pod. We've also got Chuddle the Brian, Chuddle the Sam, Chuddle the Ross on Letterboxd. I gotta get a little better about posting, but my other Chuddlemen do it quite often, and follow them on that. You can also check out my social at Ross Purvis if you want to see paintings, tattoos, artwork, fun stuff like that. Rate and review us wherever you listen. Help spread the good word of Chuddle the Pod to other people. You know what? Just, you know how you have icebreakers where you kind of like talk to another person, you just talk about Chuddle the Pod. One of two things are going to happen. They're either going to talk to you about like, oh wow, tell me more about that, or just walk away from you. And if they walk away from you, they weren't supposed to be your friend to begin with.
Damn. Okay. Wow.
I know that's
I loved it.
You went for it.
I just go for it. You know, I don't get to host very often, so this is where I'm on my soapbox.
You let it out.
You let this happen, guys.
Months.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. And until next time, keep the cameras rolling, and as always, avoid the time loop.